Hello there, YouTube. Kenny here, aka Fan85. I'm coming at you with a different kind of video this time. This is not exactly a top 5 video, as there's not going to be 1, 2, 3, or 4, but what it is going to be is 5 games that make fun of you for beating them on easy. A few of these I've played, a couple I actually haven't. I actually thought I had, but I have not, unfortunately. But they are notorious for making fun of you if you beat them. By the way, most of these details come from GamesRadar.com. So I'll have a link to the article down below. But I've handpicked out of the list the 5 games that really stood out to me. So let's go ahead and jump into it. The first one is Streets of Rage 3, which was released on Sega Genesis. Um, Japanese and American gamers have different opinions when it comes to how hard its games are. Namely, if a game is brought over from Japan, it's normal because our easy mode increasing the difficulty all around for Western audiences. Streets of Rage 3 does this, and normally it'd be no sweat. You just would pick easy, right? Well, you could if you don't want to actually finish the game. If you beat Robot X at the end of the stage 5 on easy mode, he taunts you, saying you play like a beginner. The game then resets, essentially locking you out of the last third of the game. Yeah, the game lets you see the last 2 stages of the game simply because you're playing on the original Japanese normal difficulty. To add insult to injury, the Japanese version of the game doesn't do this at all, even if you play on easy. There's challenge, and then there's absurd. Guess which one this is? The next one is going to be Twisted Metal 2 on PlayStation. It debuted on PlayStation. They did do an HD re-release, which was kind of cool, but the original always had the appeal. So back when car combat games were a dime a dozen, Twisted Metal was the king of the road. Its sequel, Twisted Metal 2, improves on the formula in every single way, making it bigger and badder than ever before. It's also a difficult beast of a game, especially when you're playing solo against a computer. Luckily, there's an easy mode, letting beginners acclimatize to the controls and the frantic gameplay. Then, after the first boss, it's all over. Yep, just when you think you're making any headway into the story mode, a giant stop sign appears on screen, shouting, "No losers allowed beyond this point." What a slap in the face. You need to play on medium or hard to get anywhere past the final stage. Oh well, time to get crushed repeatedly until the game just isn't fun anymore. If you've never played Twisted Metal, it was a fun game. Essentially, all it was, you picked a character, you had a certain car that had certain powers, missiles, guns, giant wheels that would roll over you, a giant saw. It even had a giant bobcat that actually had teeth. So it was really cool. Bobcat being one of the heavy machinery that you see at a construction site. Number 3 we're coming up on is Civilization. It's one thing to be called names for playing on easy. It's another entirely to compare you to historical failures. But that's exactly what Civilization does if you finish a game on easy mode. Now, a note here. I've only played one Civilization, which was Civilization 2, back on Mac when they had it in school. So I can't really say a whole lot about this personally, but at the end of every game of Civilization, your points are tallied, and you're rewarded a ranking based on how well you performed. No matter how well you crush your opponents, if you play on easy, you're going to end up with a rank like Warren G. Harding. Who is that? Oh, only one of the worst, most ineffectual presidents in American history, whose every single appointee to office ended up being involved in some kind of large-scale scandal. Yeah, that's a history slam. Ouch. Next up, Earthworm Jim. Now, Earthworm Jim came out for both Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo. I believe it also had a Sega CD release as well. They've also had a couple of HD re-releases, which is really cool. There's also a couple others along the way. But Earthworm Jim overall, the gameplay was essentially, it played like, the only comparison I can really think of, it would be something like Pitfall, but it is a platformer. And Earthworm Jim would take his head out, throw it at an object, and you could swing to get around. He also had a gun, he had his suit, and it was kind of a ray gun type of thing. But a really fun game overall. However, the 90s saw no shortage of wacky mascot-themed platformers, but at least Earthworm Jim has some solid gameplay chops to back it up. Its actually insanity is dialed completely to 11, complete with the most ridiculous easy mode taunt ever conceived, at least if you own the PC CD-ROM version of the game. Thanks to the storage capacity only a CD could provide at the time, beating Earthworm Jim on easy removes the ending cutscene and replaces it with a 10-minute audio file of the game's creator berating you, then filling your noggin full of fake worm facts. No joke. First he opens with a 1-2 punch, what a worm, playing on practice, eh? Then seemingly to placate you, he starts rattling off every single Annalita-related fact he can come up with. Except they're all just bad jokes. Seriously. Thanks, technology. Alright, and the last one on the list, Valkyrie Profile. Valkyrie Profile is a beautiful game for PlayStation 1. Classic Japanese hack and slash with RPG elements, but beautifully rendered, beautiful artwork, beautiful music all around. I'm an RPG fanatic, so I'm kind of biased on this opinion, but overall, a great game. You know what would be insane, though? If easy mode actually made the game you were playing harder. It sounds really dumb, but, well, apparently Enix, who later would join with Squaresoft to become Square Enix, didn't get the memo, and Valkyrie Profile's easy mode does just that. See, on easy, many of Valkyrie Profile's dungeons won't appear at all, and it omits several helpful items. This actually makes the game more difficult to complete because you won't have as many opportunities to strengthen your party as you would on normal or hard. Never mind the fact that you won't be able to get the best ending on easy. Furthermore, while characters start at level 30 in easy mode, you won't be able to raise their stats nearly as high as you would if you'd started with them at level 1. Apparently, Valkyrie Profile was on opposite day. Pretty crazy. Anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed this list. I haven't seen a whole lot of videos for it on YouTube for games that just kind of slap you in the face for playing them on easy. There are some, but not a whole lot. Not as many as there would be like top 10 best games, top 5 best games, top 5 RPGs, fighters, so on and so forth. So I always try to do something different on my channel. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and for now, I will say salute. See ya.